Today, 3 signs your twin flame is thinking about you. I'm going to list the signs real quick, and then we'll go back and go into each one in detail. And as a special bonus, I'm going to explain to you the logic behind each one of these so that you can understand why these are the true signs. And I hope by the end of this video, you'll have a very different perspective on the phenomenon of twin flames. I do things very differently than what you may be used to, whatever it is that you're seeing online about this crazy phenomenon. This is going to be a little different today, so buckle up. Let's go. Number 1, you're not focused on your twin flame. You're not chasing them. You're not doing anything about them. In fact, you might have actually taken steps to put them out of your mind completely. You're not focused on them at all. And I know for some of you that sounds hard, but there's a way to do it. I'll give you some pointers. Number 2, surrender, satori, this experience of letting go of reality and just allowing whatever's going to happen. I guess that's just what's going to happen. I'm not going to force this anymore. I'm not trying to get my twin flame back anymore. I have just completely let go and surrendered to this process. And again, I know that sounds hard. I'll give you some pointers. Number 3, knowing. Now, another word for this is intuition. You've got this knowing that your twin flame is thinking about you, or they're going to reach out to you soon. And this is a real thing, guys. And a lot of you, probably all of you, have had some form of this already. Like the first time you saw twin flame information on the internet, you said, I know that's what this is. And I don't know how I know that, but I just know it, right? Or you know that you guys are going to be together, right? And it's kind of like deja vu in a way, right? Because deja vu, it's this weird knowing that like overcomes you. It usually emanates from the heart, right? But it's this knowing that I've done this before, or I've been here before, and then the mind is thinking about it. Yeah, have I done this? Did I do this last week? Maybe it was yesterday. Maybe I dreamt about it, right? It's this weird knowing, right? Deja vu. Well, it's just like that, except the information is different. The information in this case is telling you they're thinking about you, they're going to reach out to you soon. But it feels like deja vu in that it has that weird knowing quality to it that you can't explain, right? That's the 3rd sign, the intuition, the knowing. So let's get into these signs. Now, guys, your twin flame is your soul. Everybody on earth believes that they are their mind. The basic tenet of Zen spiritualism, genuine spiritualism, is that you are not your mind. As a matter of fact, that's the name of the first chapter of Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. Eckhart Tolle, the modern day Buddha, but all the great spiritual teachers, they're always going to tell you that. They're going to tell you that who you really are is beyond mind, but we humans perceive ourselves to be a mind, to be an ego, which includes emotions, right? For example, you're watching this video and you feel lately, ever since you've been on this journey, you feel like this urgency, you feel this pull, like this desire to like search and seek, and and there's like this desperate, you're like in emergency mode looking everywhere for answers, right? That's the mind. That's not you. You think that you are in emergency mode, desperately, fucking allergies, desperately searching for answers. And that's not you. That's the ego. The ego is the emotional emergency emotion, like heightened emotional state. Like I gotta like search everywhere for answers. And also like thought too, right? That's the ego mind. So the soul, everybody says twin flames are the same soul. Everybody says it. And that's true. But the soul is beyond all of that gobbledygook that we were just talking about, right? Your body, mind, soul, right? Your twin flame is your soul. You are actually simultaneous incarnations of the same soul, you and your twin flame, right? So this is your higher self in heaven, right? Or the energy part of the universe, if you will, right? It's the mental universe. Some physicists, they refer to the universe these days as mind, actually. That's kind of where the science is going today. Believe it or not, a lot of physicists believe the universe to be a big mind. I know that sounds fucking weird, but these guys are serious. I'll even post a video down below for you with a very well-known mathematician. He's got a lot of accolades, multiple PhDs. He's a big deal. This guy, his name is Greg Chaitin, and he'll tell you flat out, yeah, the universe is mind. We think that it's mind. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. Talk about science meets spirituality. And he's not really a particularly spiritual kind of guy. He's a scientist, guys. He's a mathematician. So most people don't know that. That's where science is kind of going right now. And these people are fucking serious. We think the universe is mental, right? So that's heaven. That's what people used to call heaven, right? That's where you go when you do the thing that we call die. Also from these higher dimensional planes, there's no time. There's no time. So when you reincarnate, you can hop all around in time. You can, in your next life, you can go into the past and be born in the year 1770. If when you reincarnate, you can do that. You can go back in time. There's no reason that when you reincarnate, you can't hop all around in time, right? That's twin flames, guys. So this is you and your twin flame. This is another one of your, it could be a past life, the year 1880, birth year 1880. It could be the next life you're going to live. I don't know. So this is the future in time. That could be a past life, right? So you can hop all around in time. And then of course, you know, this here, these two, this is you and your twin flame right here, these two dots, right? So that's kind of a fourth dimensional way of looking at twin flames. Another way that you can look at twin flames is like this. Okay, so something I noticed a long time ago about twin flames, this is like the first thing I ever figured out about twin flames, is that there is this polarization. Here, let me show you this first. There's this polarization at the mental level with your twin flame, right? So in other words, like this is why your twin flame runs from you. There's this push-pull. So when you're so hyper-focused on your twin flame, that's why they run. The harder you focus on your twin flame, the harder they're going to focus on anything but you. This is one of the fundamental teachings of genuine spiritualism, not the pop culture, new agey, woo-woo stuff on the internet, which is not spiritualism. It's not spiritualism, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Like all the healing and clearing your chakras and clearing your karma and doing the mirror exercise and a blah, 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 blah. That stuff is fine to do. I'm not saying it's bad to do that stuff unless you're doing it for your twin flame, right? It doesn't work on your twin flame. But all of that kind of stuff on its own, it's not bad stuff to do, guys. It's not spiritual, it's psychology. Healing, fixing your inner childhood wounds, that's psychology, guys. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with psychology. Psychology is terrific. It just doesn't apply here, guys. That's not what this is. This is spiritual. And if you don't want to believe me, go ask Yogananda. Go ask Buddha, Ram Dass, Eckhart Tolle, Jesus, for God's sake, Rupert Spira, Alan Watts, right? All the great spiritual masters, they're all going to tell you spiritualism is the remembrance of who you are beyond the mind. Now the mind is duality. That's where the yin-yang symbol comes from, duality, right? In science, they call it relativity, right? Like Albert Einstein, relativity, right? Things being relative, greater, lesser, bigger, smaller, here, there, right? The mind works on duality. Even a psychologist, I've heard psychologists refer to the mind as duality, right? I like it, I don't like it. It's good, it's bad. I feel good, I feel bad, right? Emotion. And metaphysically, it works the same too. So this is why your twin flame runs from you guys. You believe that you are separate from them. You believe that there are two because you believe that you are the mind. The mind is separation. That's where that word came from, actually. That's not a twin flame term. Union, separation, and detaching. You see people in these twin flame chat rooms online all day long using that lingo. We're in separation. I got to get into union, right? But did you ever stop and ask yourself, why are we doing that? Like, why do we use those words? Think about it for a second. Like, can you imagine your grandmother, going, oh yeah, I met your grandpa and we were in separation. We were in the separation stage for 2 years and I did all my inner child healing and then we came together in union after I detached. You'd be like, Grandma, did you forget to take your meds? I mean, seriously, who does that? Have you ever heard anybody describe a relationship like that? Usually you just say, oh, well, we broke up. Or we're dating, right? Or whatever, right? Why does it have to be separation and union? And then what the fuck is detaching? And then you never get like a real good answer from people about it. Well, guys, those words come from the Zen teachings. They come from genuine spiritualism. Eckhart Tolle, he talks about this all the time. The mind is separation. It views the world as separated from itself. So you as an individual human, you as a person, a personality, the ego mind, which is this mental and emotional entity that we believe ourselves to be, right? Remember, body, mind, soul. So I'm talking about the mind. It perceives itself as separate, as an individual. That's where that word really came from. Ram Dass, he talks about it all the time. Rupert Spira, he refers to the mind as the separate self. It's not a relationship status with your twin flame, guys. What happened was probably in the mid-20th century, somebody that was on a twin flame journey figured it out. They said, oh, eureka! This is just transcendentalism. My twin flame is my soul. I got to do soul stuff. I got to transcend the mind. The mind is separation. The soul is union. They call it unity consciousness. And when you remember that you're not separate from your twin, there's not two of you. There's not two of you. There's one. There's only one of you. There's only one of you. But who are you? Who are you? If who you are is beyond the mind, then that's just me. I tell my students to do this, actually. Anytime you think about your twin flame, just tell yourself, that's me over there having another experience. And it's actually one of your past lives. Your twin flame is your past life. We'll talk about that in a minute. But when you transcend the separation of mind, the mind, again, the way it perceives reality is separateness. When you transcend that, you realize that there's only one, and therefore I was never attached to anything because I was never separate from anything. In order for you to get attached, there has to be at least two things. There's got to be me and then something else so that I can get attached to this thing. But if you realize that there is only one, that's what they call detaching. You realize that you were never attached in the first place because I was never separate. That's unity consciousness. That's where the word union comes from. Okay, and I made another video about this. I'll link it down below, where I go into more detail about the words separation, union, and detaching. But that's basically it. That's basically why that happens. So as long as you believe yourself to be a mind, there will always be this push-pull with your twin flame because you are in separation consciousness. Separation consciousness is when you identify as the mind ego, which again includes the emotional component where, again, like you feel this urgency or you feel this intense love for your twin flame. And I'm not saying that's bad. That's just what that is. It's the second law of thermodynamics, you guys. That's why your twin flame runs. That's why there's the push-pull with your twin flame. You are polarized at the level of the mind with your twin flame. These are the fundamental laws of the universe, guys. Okay, unity is the one. In science, they call it a singularity, where there's no separation. All is one. In spiritualism, they call it non-duality, they call it source, they call it unity, right? But with the mind, there's this push-pull, okay? Now, my theory about twin flames is that your twin flame is your past life. Do you remember earlier when I said that reincarnation, you go to the higher energetic planes when you die, right? They used to call it heaven. And again, science is acknowledging that that's real. There are higher planes. And according to science, the higher you go, the less meaning that time has. So from an ultra high energetic plane, there's no time at all. It's like the ending scene. Well, it's towards the end of that one movie Interstellar, where the guy is all, excuse me, the guy is all like going around looking at different time periods. Remember that? He's like floating around and he can see different time periods. That's what you can do from up there, from that higher plane. You can look down and see all these different time periods. Okay, so when you reincarnate, you can hop all around in time. So that's what this chart represents. And then, you know, just to be sure, these birth years that I'm using, these are just examples. There doesn't have to be an age gap with your twin flame. It doesn't matter if your twin flame is older than you, younger than you, they could be the same age. It doesn't really matter. But part of the reason I came to this conclusion was because of the polarization. I knew that this was true, and I've demonstrated again and again and again. 7,000 students, guys, I've personally coached. I've got more twin flame students that are with their twin flame than anybody else in the world by far. The second place person, I don't even know who that would be. I don't know anybody else that's doing what I'm doing, guys. I don't understand it. These teachings are so easy to understand. Why am I the only one? I don't get it. Why? I'm with my twin flame. I don't know, guys. That's the way it is. But that's why there is the polarization, because your twin flame is your past life. Consciousness grows with each life lived. Now, let's get back to the signs that your twin flame is thinking about you before we run out of time here. I think by now you should understand why it is your twin flame would be thinking about you when you are not focused on them. When you're not focused on your twin flame, right? So my coaching program, what I have my students do is like really good, really strict, really thorough. I call it a detox. You got to take all your focus off your twin flame. You got to stop chasing your twin flame, guys. It stops today. Go watch my free shit. I got all kinds of free stuff on this YouTube channel. There's a whole playlist called The True Twin Flame Teachings. I got another playlist called Twin Flame Science. It's all free. There's also my coaching. It's not expensive. It's comprehensive. And I don't breadcrumb the shit, right? To get you to keep giving me money. I give you everything with your first purchase, and it's not thousands of dollars. It's very affordable. I've got payment plans. You can start for like 70 bucks, I think. 70 or 80 bucks. You can get started right away, right? So, but that's what I have my students do. You gotta stop chasing. You gotta shut that down right now. That's the first thing you gotta do. And you gotta embrace a lifestyle of Zen. And that doesn't mean that you stop living. It doesn't mean that you don't keep having a good time in life from time to time. I sure am. But you got to incorporate this into your life, guys. You got to make this a way of life. You need to add spaciousness into your life. And this is what is going to cause the surrender, the satori, which was the second sign. Remember that? You take your focus off your person and you go in here, guys. And you experience yourself as this deeper being, which is beyond thought and emotion. And you experience that in stillness and in silence. Yes, this works. Yes, this works. I have people, Kurt, you mean to tell me all I got to do, stop chasing my twin and learn to meditate, and they're going to come back? That's no, Kurt, no way. There's got to be more. Come on, give me some steps, give me some instructions, give me some fucking checklists, right? No, that's the whole problem. That's the whole problem, is you're trying to work this through the mind, guys. You don't become your soul by thinking about it. You already are a soul. The thinking is the whole problem. You got to get that shit out of the way. You got to get rid of the thinking. That's the whole problem, is the thinking and the emotions are covering up the soul. That's the real problem, guys. Which brings me to the third and final sign, the knowing. I think I kind of already explained that in great detail, but you're going to start to get blown up, guys, with these experiences. You know your twin flame is thinking about you. You just fucking know they are. And that's about the time they're going to start blowing up your phone, sending you selfies, telling you they miss you. But you can't hear the knowing if you're so busy thinking about them and chasing them and feeling emotional about them and being all focused on them, guys. You got to get out of the mind. Slow down. You got to switch your mode. All right, guys. Great video. I'll see you later.